GHOD.
Chapter 10. Whispers of the Past. Opening scene, back to the present, Psy's awakening. The scene fades in. Sunlight streams through the gaps in the blinds, casting stripes across the worn floorboards of Psy's sparsely furnished apartment. The clock on the nightstand reads 1500 hours, 3 p.m. for those unfamiliar with military time. Psy's eyes flutter open, the remnants of sleep clinging to him like a stubborn fog. As his vision slowly sharpened, the events of the previous night came crashing back with the force of a tidal wave. His hand instinctively shoots out, searching the cool sheets beside him for the warmth of Arwa's body, but all he finds is emptiness. A hollow ache settles in his chest.
Damn it.
He mutters, the word catching in his throat.
This is my own fault, letting my guard down, allowing myself to be vulnerable, unbelievably foolish.
He pushes away the wave of self-recrimination.
No, dwelling on it won't change anything. What's done is done.
Psy sits up on the bed, his lean muscles rippling beneath his brown skin. He closes his eyes and takes a deep breath, focusing on the rise and fall of his chest. As he settles into a meditative state, the fragments of information Arwa revealed to him the night before begin to surface. He remembers her words, her voice a hushed whisper against the darkness.
Foxhound, Big Boss, compromised, and double agents.
This can't be a coincidence. Yesterday morning, Red Dawn appeared out of nowhere with a mission from the Go Hard or Die forces. Now this mysterious woman shadowing me, seeking my protection. It's all connected somehow, but how?
He continues to meditate, sifting through the pieces of the puzzle, trying to make sense of the chaotic swirl of events. Finally, he rises from the bed, his mind made up. He needs answers, and he needs them now. He heads to the bathroom, the cool water of the shower washing away the last vestiges of sleep and doubt. Towel, dried and dressed, he pulls on his leather jacket, the weight of the envelope filled with last night's earnings, a reassuring presence in his pocket. He takes one last look around the small apartment before stepping out the door and into the vibrant chaos of Harlem. Scene shift. The streets of Harlem, 1988. The midday sun beat down on the bustling streets of Harlem, casting long shadows that danced with the rhythm of the city. A cacophony of sounds filled the air. The rumble of traffic, the insistent blare of car horns, the rhythmic beat of boomboxes blasting hip-hop and salsa, the shouts of street vendors hawking their wares. People from all walks of life thronged the sidewalks. Sharp-dressed businessmen with briefcases clutched tightly in their hands, mothers pushing strollers, teenagers sporting the latest fashion trends, and elderly residents sitting on stoops, watching the world go by. But amidst the vibrant energy, there was an undercurrent of desperation. Homeless men and women huddled in doorways, their eyes hollow with despair. Drug dealers lurked on street corners, their presence a constant threat. Graffiti marred the walls of once proud buildings, a testament to the neglect and decay that had taken root in the community. Psy jogged through this urban tapestry, his senses heightened, his eyes constantly scanning his surroundings. He weaved through the crowds with practiced ease, his movements fluid and graceful. He observed everything, taking in the sights, sounds, and smells of the city.
This city is a microcosm of the world,
he thought, his gaze lingering on a group of homeless men huddled around a burning trash can.
So many people, lost in their own struggles, blind to the suffering of others. The homeless are invisible, the businessmen too preoccupied with their own ambitions to notice. Everyone just trying to survive, caught in the grip of a system that's slowly crumbling around them.
He continued his run, his pace steady and measured. To the casual observer, he was just another jogger getting his daily exercise. But Psy had a destination in mind, a secret haven hidden in the heart of the city. He slowed his pace as he approached a seemingly nondescript alleyway, his eyes darting from side to side, ensuring he wasn't being followed. Satisfied that he was alone, he slipped through a hidden door, disappearing into the shadows. Chapter 10, Whispers of the Past, continued. Scene shift, the hidden place. Psy stepped through the hidden door, leaving the bustling city streets behind. He found himself in a dimly lit, cavernous space that resembled an abandoned subway station. Water dripped from the cracked concrete ceiling, and the rumble of passing trains echoed through the tunnels, creating an eerie, almost otherworldly atmosphere. This was Psy's sanctuary, his private refuge from the prying eyes of the world. While it lacked the polished sophistication of Batman's iconic Batcave, it served its purpose. Here, Psy could store his equipment, his secrets, and his wealth, safe from the chaos and dangers of the city above. He moved with purpose, his footsteps echoing in the silence. He reached a section of the wall and with practiced ease, removed several loose bricks, revealing two jet-black suitcases tucked away in the hidden compartment. The first suitcase contained an arsenal of gadgets and weaponry, sleek, customized firearms, throwing knives with retractable blades, a grappling hook that could be fired from his wrist, and a slim, futuristic-looking computer that seemed decades ahead of its time. This was the toolkit of a modern-day warrior, a testament to Psy's dedication and his unique skill set. The second suitcase held a more mundane yet equally powerful resource, stacks of crisp $100 bills neatly bundled and secured with rubber bands. Psy pulled out the envelope containing the $5,000 he had earned the previous night at the Crimson Cat nightclub and added it to the impressive pile. It was clear that Psy's modest lifestyle was a choice, not a necessity. This hidden fortune represented freedom, independence, and the means to pursue his own agenda. Beneath the money, nestled in the bottom of the suitcase, lay a suit of jet-black armor. It was a masterpiece of engineering and design, a sleek, form-fitting exoskeleton that enhanced Psy's strength, speed, and agility. This was no ordinary armor. It was a high-tech marvel, crafted by the enigmatic Omega Red, a brilliant scientist and inventor who had played a pivotal role in Psy's past.
This armor, it's more than just protection.
Psy mused, his fingers tracing the smooth contours of the suit.
It's a symbol of everything I've become, a reminder of the power I possess, the battles I've fought, and the sacrifices I've made.
He closed the suitcases, carefully replacing the bricks to conceal his hidden treasures. As he turned to leave, his thoughts drifted back to Omega Red, the enigmatic figure who had helped him unlock his potential.
I wonder what he's up to now. He always was one step ahead, always pushing the boundaries of what was possible. I can only imagine the incredible things he's creating.
With a final glance around his hidden sanctuary, Psy slipped back through the secret door, returning to the bustling streets above. Scene shift, a confrontation on the streets. The sun was beginning to set, casting long shadows across the city as Psy jogged back towards his apartment. He was just a few blocks away when a group of men stepped out from a side street blocking his path. The leader, a lanky man with a menacing sneer and a gold chain glinting around his neck, stepped forward.
Yo, hold up,
the man said, his voice laced with aggression.
We've been seeing you coming and going from this building, but you ain't never shown us no love. What's up with that? You think you too good for us, nigga?
He punctuated his words with a racial slur, his eyes filled with malice. Zai's eyes narrowed, his senses on high alert. He recognized the type, small-time drug dealers, looking to intimidate and extort. He wasn't interested in a confrontation, but he wouldn't back down either.
I'm just trying to get home. I have no problem with any of you.
Oh, you can go home, all right? For a fee, nigga.
He gestured to his four companions, who were now flanking Sai, their eyes gleaming with anticipation.
You've got until the count of 5 to move out of my way.
Sai warned, his voice dangerously low. The drug dealer and his thugs erupted in laughter, their arrogance fueled by their numbers and their perceived power.
Get him!
The leader shouted, and the four thugs lunged at Sai. What followed was a blur of motion. Sai moved with lightning speed, his strikes precise and devastating. He dodged a punch, countered with a swift kick to the groin, and sent one thug sprawling to the ground. He grabbed another by the arm, using his momentum to throw him into his companion. Within seconds, all 5 men were lying on the sidewalk, groaning in pain. The commotion had attracted a small crowd of onlookers. Some cheered, recognizing the thugs who had been terrorizing the neighborhood. Others, more cautious, quickly dialed the police. Sai, however, was already gone. He slipped through the front door of his apartment building, leaving the scene behind. Scene shift. Sai's apartment, an unexpected visitor. Back in his apartment, Sai resumed his preparations for another night at the Crimson Cat nightclub. He carefully laid out his black suit, the crisp fabric a stark contrast to the worn furniture and empty walls of the room. He was about to head out the door when a loud knock echoed off the bare walls of his small apartment. Sai's hand instinctively went to the concealed holster beneath his jacket. He moved cautiously towards the door, his senses heightened, his mind racing with possibilities. Who could be visiting him at this hour? Was it the police responding to the earlier altercation, or was it something more sinister? As he reached for the doorknob, the scene faded to black, leaving the answer hanging in the air. Scene shift, the interrogation. A sharp knock echoed through Sai's sparsely furnished apartment, momentarily disrupting the quiet hum of the refrigerator. Sai, his hand instinctively hovering over the firearm concealed beneath his tailored black suit jacket, called out in a voice both firm and wary.
Who is it?
Detective Schrute and Detective Halpert, we'd like to ask you a few questions about a recent incident.
Sai hesitated, his fingers tightening around the cool steel of his weapon. With a slow, deliberate motion, he unchained the deadbolt and cracked the door open a fraction. 2 figures loomed in the hallway, their detective shields glinting under the dim apartment lights. Detective Schrute, a man whose serious demeanor was undercut by a twitching eyebrow and an oddly enthusiastic tone, stepped forward.
Good evening, sir. Sorry to bother you.
He began, his eyes darting around the apartment, taking in the minimalist decor and the lone figure standing before them.
We're canvassing the building, talking to residents about the, shall we say, altercation that occurred recently. If I may ask, were you, or were you not, present during the M disturbance?
Sai, maintaining a carefully neutral expression, replied smoothly.
I was in the shower at the time, gentlemen. As you can see, I'm just getting ready for work.
Detective Halpert, a lanky man with a perpetually amused smirk playing on his lips, leaned against the doorframe.
Mind if I ask how long you've been living here?
Am I a suspect, detective?
Schrute puffed up his chest.
Whoa, hold your horses there, buddy. We ask the questions. Though, we're not exactly complaining that someone finally took care of those thugs. We've still got a job to do, you know?
Sai glanced down at his black suit, a hint of sarcasm in his voice.
The feeling is mutual, detectives.
Indeed it is. Well, if you happen to remember anything at all, here's my card.
He proceeded to hand Sai not one, but 3 identical business cards.
You can reach me morning, noon, or night. Don't hesitate to call.
He paused, squinting at Sai.
Appreciate your cooperation, Mr.
Phantom.
Phantom.
Shrut repeated, his eyebrows raised in amusement.
Interesting name. Well, Mr. Phantom, have a good evening.
He turned to leave, but Halpert interjected with a question, and the 2 detectives promptly devolved into a bickering match as they ambled down the hallway. Their voices fading into a muffled argument about proper interrogation techniques. Sai shook his head and chuckled. He knew he had done what was necessary, but the scrutiny of the law, even in its most comedic form, was a reminder of the precarious path he walked.
Clowns.
He muttered under his breath. He descended the stairs and stepped out into the night, heading towards the Crimson Cat nightclub. Scene shift, the Crimson Cat nightclub. The Crimson Cat was alive with its usual vibrant energy. The air throbbed with music, the dance floor a swirling mass of bodies, and the bar lined with patrons seeking solace or companionship in their glasses. Sai, a silent observer amidst the revelry, scanned the crowd, his eyes missing nothing. He saw the regulars, the newcomers, the lonely hearts and the thrill-seekers, each with their own story, their own desires, their own secrets. He spotted Arwa across the room, her eyes meeting his with a warm smile. She moved through the crowd with effortless grace, her presence a beacon in the dimly lit club. As she reached him, her touch was light, her smile genuine.
Hi, Sai. I'm so sorry I wasn't there when you woke up this morning.
It's fine. No need for apologies.
How are you doing?
Can't complain. I'm still alive. How about you?
Much better now. I'm glad you came in tonight.
Their conversation flowed easily, a comfortable back and forth about the night's events, the people they had encountered, the subtle undercurrents of tension and desire that permeated the club. For a moment, Sai allowed himself to relax, to forget the dangers that lurked in the shadows, to simply enjoy the company of this intriguing woman. Scene shift, a sudden attack. The night wore on, the hours slipping away like grains of sand through an hourglass. As the club prepared to close, Arwa waited at the bar for Sai, watching as he emerged from the back room, his jacket slung over his shoulder. They stepped out into the cool night air, the alleyway behind the club shrouded in darkness. As they walked, their conversation drifted toward Sai's past, his time with the GHOD forces, the missions that had shaped him into the man he was today. Sai's senses were heightened, his instincts honed from years of living on the edge. He didn't notice the figure lurking in the shadows, the glint of metal in the darkness. Suddenly a shot rang out, the sound echoing through the narrow alleyway. Sai reacted instantly, his body moving with a speed that defied human limitations. He pushed Arwa out of the way, a surge of adrenaline coursing through his veins. But the bullet, deflected by his movement, ricocheted off the brick wall and struck Arwa in the chest. Sai, unaware of the tragic turn of events, continued to scan the alleyway, his eyes searching for the attacker.
Come on, Arwa, let's go.
His voice filled with urgency, but as he reached for her hand, he felt her grip loosen. He looked down and saw blood trickling from her lips, her eyes wide with shock and pain.
I left this morning
She gasped, her voice weak and fading.
because when I was lying next to you, your body, it was radiating a dark smoke and heat. I was frightened.
Sai's eyes widened in horror as he realized the truth. His powers, dormant for so long, had manifested in his sleep, unknowingly endangering Arwa. He had driven her away with his own hidden abilities. Guilt and fear warred within him.
It's okay, Arwa. Just stay with me.
But Arwa's eyes were losing focus.
I shouldn't have left you.
She murmured, her voice barely a whisper.
They found me, Foxhound. It was Revolve.
Her body went limp in his arms, her breath escaping in a final sigh. Sai's world crumbled around him. He held her close, his grief a suffocating weight. A chilling laughter echoed from the shadows, mocking his pain. Sai's eyes narrowed, his gaze hardening with a cold, deadly resolve. He would find those responsible. He would make them pay. As the scene fades to black, the camera zooms in on Sai's eyes, burning with fury and grief.